Welcome to Audiation Essentials. Today we're going to dive into what exactly audiation is. We're going to talk about why it's important, and I'm going to give you the techniques that I use in my full audiation course. And my goal here is to provide those of you who don't necessarily need guided instruction on a near daily basis the ability to just take these concepts and start to apply them to your own musical endeavors. So, whatever you're involved in, this course is designed to provide you the structure and the information you need to go out and develop audiation on your own. So, before we even get started, let's just talk a little bit about what audiation is. Audiation is the ability to hear and understand music in your mind, even when no physical sound is present. So we probably all experience this at some point or another. You get a song stuck in your head. The problem with getting a song stuck in your head is that it is a form of audiation, but you are not creating that song. It's a memory of a song, of something that you've heard. And this is not a bad way to learn audiation. You can start by simply hearing familiar songs in your head. But if you want to develop a practical application that's going to help you in both performance and composition, which we're going to talk about that much later, then you'll want something more substantial than just listening to a song that already exists. And so one of the ways you can develop audiation is through performance, where you're mentally visualizing the actual notes that you're playing. So this means you understand the notes. You're looking at sheet music and having it play back in your head. Or the other side of it, and they can be used at the same time, concurrently, would be composition. So you're creating new melodies, new harmonies in your mind. Now, audiation does require the ability to extract what you're hearing in your mind and put it on paper. But that can be a difficult thing to do if you don't develop your ear. And I actually know for a fact that you can develop audiation without developing your ear. So you may not know what a perfect fifth or perfect fourth sounds like, but you can audiate very clearly, and you can even separate individual lines in your head and hear 4, 5, or 6 part harmony. But without ear training, it's very difficult and frustrating because you don't know how to extract those sounds internally and put them on paper. So that is why ear training is sort of the other side of audiation. It's something that you should continue to work on, because otherwise you reach a point where you get very frustrated with audiation. And we don't want that. We want you to be able to both create and perform music in your mind, which will help you as a performer and a composer, and even a just music lover. And we also want you to be able to understand what it is you are hearing. And we want you to know the exact notes. So that's something we're going to talk about in great detail in this Essentials course. I'm going to give you all the secrets. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to develop audiation. And then you can take it and run with that, or you can sign up to get more personalized instruction once you complete this course. Let's work on some basic exercises to show you how audiation can work. This is just an introduction. The first thing I want you to do is something that we can call inner recall. So we're going to start with a simple exercise. Imagine the melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in your head. Okay, now without making any sound, try to hear the notes as clearly as you can. I'm going to give you just a moment to do this. Now I want you to do it again. This time, try to notice the intervals and the rhythm. So whether or not you could actually identify the intervals isn't important right now, because That's what we develop in ear training courses and a full audiation course. But this is a basic concept. When you're recalling a melody, audiation is more than just playing something back. You also have to be able to know what you're listening to. So that means knowing the intervals, the harmonies, the rhythm, everything that goes into actually performing the piece. If you were to notate the piece, you should understand all of that when you're audiating. This is a basic form of audiation where you just work on a simple melody. So let's try another option. So I'm going to have you imagine a melody. Another way to think about audiation is to consider how you might remember a song. When you recall a tune and the lyrics in your mind, you're audiating. So let's do this exercise. Think of your favorite song, close your eyes, and try to play the song in your head from start to finish. Try and hear as much as the harmony, the singer's voice, as if you were actually pressing play and listening to the song internally. Go ahead and pause the recording. And once you've played through as much of the song as you can from start to finish, come back. So audiation isn't just for recalling music. It's also for creating it. So how did you do on that exercise? Were you able to hear a song fairly clearly in your mind? This is something you can practice later once you finish this lesson. Just go and listen to a song and then see how much you can just mentally recall it. So when composers come up with new melodies, they often hear their music in their mind before they write it down. I think this is actually the most effective way to do it. What we're doing right now is just showing you a little bit of the clarity of sound that you can get when you are audiating a particular piece. Now, the level of clarity will vary. There's different levels. You can go from kind of a fuzzy recollection to very sharp, clear. It's as if the music is in the room with you, but that takes practice. So we're going to do something a little different now. The third thing we're going to do is what I'm going to call compose with Brahms. You see a statue of Brahms here. So we're going to practice just a little bit deeper. I'm going to play a short melody, and I want you to listen carefully. Then, without singing it out loud, try to replay that melody in your mind. I'm just going to make something up. Go ahead and try and recall that. So how'd you do on that? Were you able to play most of it? Maybe your memory wasn't good enough to remember the whole thing. That's actually a key of audiation. One of the things you want to do when you're trying to develop your audiation skills is to also increase your working memory for music. When you increase what you can hold in your mind, then you increase your ability to hear music. That's a really important point. So imagine you're playing this melody back in your head, and do this with other melodies that you come up with. This simple exercise can help strengthen your audiation skills. It's very important to note that developing audiation is crucial for becoming a proficient musician. It helps you understand music on a deeper level and makes reading, performing, and creating music much easier. So you did a great job today. We've introduced the concept of audiation and practiced some basic exercises to get you started. Remember, audiation is like a musical conversation happening in your mind. In our next lesson, we're going to explore why audiation is so important and how it plays a vital role in various musical activities. So keep practicing audiation today by imagining your favorite melodies and rhythms throughout the day. This is going to help you become more confident and skilled in your musical journey. Don't go on to the next lesson today. Take a day and just practice these three concepts. We did inner recall, imagining a melody, one that already exists. It could even be an entire song, and then compose a melody. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, I'm not a composer, just sit there and hear a single note and then hear another note, and a third note, and a fourth note. Doesn't have to be good, but this is actually a way to start developing your composition skill. Okay? So we don't have to be great at composition, but composition is essential. We have to be able to create in our mind, and we also have to be able to replicate in our mind. So there's two aspects of audiation. So keep working on that, and I will see you tomorrow.